industry is ready for a July 1st implementation? Has the groundwork from a corporate end, what are your clients telling you? From a corporate end, has the groundwork been done? And I also want to get a quick comment from you on the restaurants tax that has been discussed. Smaller restaurants with turnover of below 50 lakh, if I'm correct, will be taxed. I mean, the rate that is being discussed is 5%. That's been cleared today by the council. Your quick comments on these two issues, Pratik?
Yes, so as far as preparedness is concerned, people are getting ready. I mean, the whole preparedness started around a year back or so by large manufacturing companies. Services sector really woke up later, and I still feel that there are basic issues which have not been clarified as far as services sectors are concerned, with banks, telecom, and so on and so forth. And that is something which has not got a lot of attention as yet. So service sector is really struggling. They don't know, how do I raise invoice, where do I pay tax, etc. So that's that's a concern. But yes, to Hari's point, I mean, we have to be ready. I mean, we are a country where when we have to take exam, we study the previous night, right? I mean, that's how.
Matlab agar September tak push kar diya, then obviously we'll be waiting basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think it has to be given a push, and and July 1 should happen. But even if it gets deferred by a couple of months, it's not a big issue, because by 16th of September it has to come. On restaurant service that you talked about, I think it's good. I mean, below 50 lakh, if they have 5%, it will incentivize smaller businesses. The only word of caution that I have is that, like you have looked at differential rate for products, which is 5, 12, 18 and 28, I hope this is not a start of a differential rate on services, because that will be the biggest disaster that we can have on GST. Okay, I mean, till now there is a 15% service tax. There is no differential in terms of rate. Of course, you have abatements, etc. for certain sectors, and if you have differential rate for services, then it's going to be much more complicated. So I hope that this 5% for restaurant is just one of the exception, but it will not become a norm for many services to come in there.
Okay, let's get closing comments from Sachin. Sachin, final word to you. To close, what are the issues that still lie ahead, if at all? And do you believe, the question that I asked Pratik right now, do you believe that the industry, what are your clients telling you? Is the industry ready? What are the sectors that are still not ready about this?
Well, I think it is a mixed bag. If you look at the manufacturing or goods industry, they are far ahead of ahead of the curve in terms of readiness to implement GST, because they are used to complying with state-wise compliances with respect to VAT. They have registration, they have the machinery in all the states to comply with the VAT requirement or excise or service tax requirement. Whereas if you look at the service industry, they were having a great time because they had only 2 returns in a year, as against 1 return every month for the manufacturing or goods industry. And from that possibility, it is going to 12-fold increase in compliance, or a 6-fold increase in compliance. So, and therefore they were hoping that the representation made for having a centralized registration for service industry will come through. So let us wait and see. So, and therefore there is a lot of the service industries which are waiting to have a clarity as to which way it is heading for. And therefore the service industry is perhaps started preparing for GST implementation. And as regards the rates are concerned, if you look at, see the committee for the rate, the subcommittee for rate fixation is constituted somewhere in January.
Correct.
And almost 2/3 of the members in the committee are from the respective state governments. And state governments, they are finance secretaries or VAT commissioners. All of them are busy with their budget exercise in every state. And therefore, I understand that even rate committee has not met even once so far.
Okay. So there could be that ambiguity over there. Correct.
No, so the point is that the broad contours of what are the slabs, it is already endorsed by the GST Council. You have to chop the items and put it in different baskets. And that exercise is very challenging, because there is a great lobbying happening, because everybody wants to come into the 5% category. The thousands of representation has gone already. So therefore government would like to, perhaps as a strategy, would like to decide about the rate maybe in the last leg, because then the pressure on the officers or the government will be less from the lobbies which are lobbying for lower rate. So therefore, the rate is concerned that will be the last thing which will come. But any of those IT changes, any kind of system changes required in all the industries to comply with GST,
correct,
that is depending upon what rate is going to be implemented, and then they need to configure accordingly. So this is an issue which everybody is looking forward very anxiously.
All right. So I'll have to be completely out of time. But as our entire panel was pointing out, there are still some nitty-gritties that have to be ironed out. But July 1st does look like a possible timeline. Prateek Jain, MS Money, Sachin Menon and Harishankar Subramanian, appreciate you joining in and breaking this up for us. Next few weeks will be important. So I would request all our panelists to be back on the channel with their detailed perspective. With that, it's a wrap on this special coverage. News and updates will continue on the other side of this very short break. Stay right there.